and boom, it is recorded. So yeah, I never know when it actually starts recording because like it's weird, but it's okay. So what I typically have done in the past, even way before I joined this company, and even once I did, was a lot of people go and they look for their setups on the triple arrow system on the weekend. They write down what they see, and I've done that as well, and I do that to a point. But what I do most importantly is I just go to TradingView. I draw some lines. I don't think there's like a super actual amazing science that is accurate all the time. I think that how you see the market, if you can see it consistently, then you'll be good to go. So what I do is I literally just come to TradingView. If you guys can see this, I click through the different time frames. Okay, I see where support is. I see what price is doing. I know that if the of a what you guys call a channel, or not a channel, but an ascending channel, descending and ascending channel, that I know a pullback is coming in. I just analyze the market just kind of naked, kind of raw. So as you guys can see, this is Australian 200. I did take an enormous loss on this last Wednesday. I was traveling, as you guys know, and it made a higher high. That's an all-time high. So I got kicked out of the trade, and of course it turned out to be right. I did leave room, but not enough room. And I already closed some profits and made some money, which is good. But because this is an indice, it still is very volatile. So this is a lot. This cost a lot of money, a lot of money. But that's okay. So real quick, we're going to just bust through some of these. We'll see kind of what our analysis was saying, even from trades we called 4 or 5 weeks ago. So win and loss, we've taken some losses, but you'll see that when you actually hold on to a trade, so this was a trade that we had called a long time ago, it won and it actually continued to go further. Some people didn't hold it that far, and that's okay, but it did win, and it did. This one didn't hit the stop loss. This was a trade that we called, and of course, this is the one we're in now. Just kind of basing it off structure, basing it off my EMA crossovers, basing it off of Elliott wave theory. I don't really do quarters theory in terms of whole numbers. I don't really find that science to be sound, although I know price does react at certain price points for those of you who follow that train of thought. But currently, we're still in this trade. You guys can close out. I mean, it's probably going to pull back a decent amount. I would highly recommend you take some of your profits off the table. Actually, it did close out. Wow, I didn't even see that. So I wasn't looking. Look at that nice drop. But that's just one of the trades that we're in. And if I click through these, obviously we can't take a new entry on this. And I wouldn't recommend taking a new entry on this because we definitely need an exhaustion. We need it to pick up a little bit. So to continue on, this is that trade that knocked us out. It just held us forever. News picked it up and it still hit our stop loss. And it went exactly where it was supposed to go. But of course, this one knocked us out a couple of times. It knocked me out several times. So that's just the life. But again, I'm not looking for a new entry on this because if I was, I'd want it to pull back before I continue to the downside. We do have some background noise, people. Manage participants, mute all. Continue. For those of you, go ahead. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, check this out, guys, right? We're not going backwards, we're going forward. We're about to end a decade. We're about to end in a decade. So we should be blessed to be alive to see we're going to be ending in a decade and starting a new one together. So what we do here at the end of a decade is what's going to happen during the rest of the new decade. So that means show respect, mute your mics, and do the right thing. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you. So if you guys have your scalping charts up, just real quick, I would like you guys to keep an eye on GBP odd and gold. I have my scalp up on another screen as well. I would be looking for another buy entry on gold. I took one already this morning. I won't count it because it didn't call it, but it closed because of the trade manager. Still trying to find out how many pips I got. I have to count them manually because it's in pain. But definitely have gold up and GA. I do want to click through this because this was my arrangement with Pat and I have to honor it. And I'm going to find new ways to kind of show different things where I can. So back to the charts just real quick. I want to speed through this as fast as possible. It works very efficiently on TradingView. This was something we discussed all the way back here and we knew it was going to happen, but this is a long time for people to keep the faith. And then that goes with every area of our life. To keep the faith is hard. I do see long term that this could potentially break out of this huge consolidation pattern we have. But as of right now, we're just kind of stuck in it. So we're not going to make any major decisions. And if we did, we'd probably be looking for the pullback to go up, only because it needs to breathe. That wouldn't be the main move. The main move would be down. So bear that in mind a little bit as you are looking at that pair. CAD JPY hit our 50 pip take profit, or you got knocked out. So now what we're going to be looking for is, if you want to take a new entry, you might be able to do so. But it's still not ready yet. We're still really moving down with some force. So that's too much force for me to say, okay, we're going to take a new buy. This isn't a healthy pullback. This is a reversal kind of setup. This is momentum. This is change in direction. So technically we're still maintaining structure. And if we continue to draw trend lines, nothing fancy, nothing major. I would typically do this with a line chart personally. But either way, just to kind of keep it simple and not click between the different charts, if we break this structure retest, we'd be looking for the sell continuation. If we respect this, okay, and play around in this area, kind of form that ascending or that channel, that flag pattern, that wedge pattern. There's so many different names and people keep making up their own ones. So I'm terrified to say which one. But if we bounce in this area like so, we'd be looking for the continuation to the upside. So right now, this is a no touchy. You should have been knocked out if you used a trailing stop. You should have been knocked out if you put your stop loss on the profit. You should have made money on this trade if you're learning to manage your trades properly. This one is something we discussed last Tuesday on the 4-hour setups. Not Tuesday. We discussed it last week on the 4-hour setups. I'm not sure what day. It did go up. We didn't take this trade. I didn't take this trade, but we knew the JPYs were going up. Well, actually, I did take this trade. I took all of them, but JPY, GBP, but I wasn't heavy on it, so it wasn't, an amazing moment. I don't typically trade Euro AUD, primarily because it's the highest swap fee pair there is, and not because I have anything against it. But if you guys go back in history, I don't have a lot of drawings on here because I'm unwilling to pay the fees to play with this pair. So there's too many other pairs on the table for me to have to think I need that one. We weren't looking at this, but again, Euro pairs were going up, and now we're just kind of completing this really, really large, triangle pattern. So what we'd be looking for is either the break to the downside before it busts up. Okay, that's what I'm anticipating to happen, but we don't have any confirmation of that. As you guys can see, this is the momentum move to the upside, but there's structure here. There's a lot of stalling in this area. So we're not looking for a buy until it tells us to buy, in which case it would have to break these highs. And right now it's kind of just chilling out. So again, this was a trade that was called. Most of us didn't hold it that long. Most of us held it for a very small amount of time. And that's okay. We're going to learn and we're going to get better at it. It's hard to know when to hold them and when to fold them, just like in any other area of life, relationships and your diets and everything else. Good morning, Brent. It's just real life. So this was a trade that was called. It did hit enough pips. I don't know exactly how many pips it hit, but we can measure. Most of you, even if you only got 50 pips, that's enough. 50 pips with accuracy is good. So there's a trade. I'm not looking for this to do anything right now. Our bias is currently for the euros to go back up. But again, we have to wait to see, because Chef is definitely due a retracement. Chef is definitely due some change in direction. Euro GBP is consistently making lower lows, just like AUD NZD. Everyone's looking to buy. And we keep getting these small buys, but nothing that's going to be worth the risk. So if you're asking me, stay away. This is what I would call like a liquid. And Jamie, do you guys see this as your descending channel? Where price is just kind of.
Yes, it's so beautiful.
See, there you go. Well, this is what they would call their descending channel. And that's kind of how I see a descending channel, is this really stalled out, slow, kind of slant pattern, if you will, depending on who's defining it. But either way, we're looking for a breakout, but we're just not there yet. I mean, we are definitely going to see one, and this is a very expensive pair to trade, and it doesn't move very fast. So for now, it's just one of those stay away things, because if you did look for an entry, you'd either look for it based off of your other indicators that we use, which is a slightly later entry, or you look for it to turn around down here now. So you're no longer looking for that I don't care what any of the indicators are telling us. we need to let it come retest because it's still pushing down. So if it finishes this little slant pattern, this descending channel, this descending whatever, you're going to see some reaction here. If it breaks, you're looking to continue. If not, you're looking for reversal. Pretty simple, pretty standard. A lot of us took the buy here. This one was called as a signal. It didn't move the whole amount. That's okay. But again, if you're willing to hold it, you got enough pips. It's hard to know when to get back in, when to hold them and fold them. But now we're looking mostly for the buys. Again, we're not in a position to go buying because it needs to time to breathe. But currently, as you guys can see, it's respecting this. So before I took another buy on any JPY, they've all moved a lot, but this is an impulse move. So we're going to see a reaction here. We're either going to see it break and then drop, or we're going to see it reverse and continue to go up. As for me, I'm okay with my USD JPY pair currently. So this one was a loss. This is Euro NZD, 4-hour chart. We were in a trade. We were up. I don't know if this one ever hit take profit actually, or hit any pips in profit. And I would have to check to verify to say that accurately, at least from where I called the trade. But as you guys can see, it just pushed lower. NZD was too strong, had news last week. It wasn't going to obey, structure. So that's okay. We make decisions. We take some losses. No biggie. This isn't a super expensive pair to trade. So it is what it is. Again, I'm not looking for anything major. And if I were looking for something, it would not be to buy it. And the reason why is we just officially broke a low. So this is the body, this is the wick. I usually draw my lines with the line chart. So kind of just to give you both versions of where we broke through, retested, and we're still breaking through. But as of right now, you see this railroad bottom. We could see the pullback, but either way, we're not looking to risk our account on a potential pullback. So just to continue, Euro USD, I don't heavily trade this pair. We said that we were kind of biased for the euros to go up. This one did, but only because I have no idea why. But again, it's USD's. USD has huge news this week, and we're already in one USD pair. I'm not willing to take one, but this is the perfect W. So now we're in this area where we're testing the peak. This is an impulse move. We'd wait for the pullback, and then we'd buy it up. That's kind of the bias I would have if I wanted to call it as a signal or take the trade. But either way, I don't see that as super, super, super worth it. But this pair typically moves opposite of USD JPY. Not that correlation is a guarantee. Everyone thinks that correlation means if USD goes up, Euro USD has to go down. No, it just means it has a probability of going down. So you would use that as part of your checklist. So let's say you have 9 rules and USD JPY is going down. You'd use that as, the 10th marker to say, hey, I'm pretty sure that Euro USD is going to go up. Just use it as a piece of evidence, not as a trading style. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. I'll even draw a little line to say, come back around so. If it decides to do so, mindful of the news, this is how many pips we'd be looking for. Does everybody see that? Maybe, baby. This is the trade that I'd like to call, but I'm literally terrified out of my mind to call a GBP pair. The drawdown is so much. The pips is great. The pips are amazing, but we have a breakout move. We're busting through structure, and we have our pullback. So the good thing is at least in this case, the pullback is complete. This is a trade that I am taking. I took it already, got knocked out, made money, but now I'd like to take it in a different account as more of a hold setup. We know that GBP has the thing on the 12th, so that may or may not be a wise idea. I won't call it as a signal, but I like this trade to take it. I like this trade in general. I'm sure it will take much longer to fill this out, but personally, I like this trade. Why do you think Euro USD will get to the price level you stopped at? Let's take a look. So the price level I stopped at, if I kind of zoom in. So when I drew that line, now granted that's just eyeballing it, but this isn't perfect. But I drew it literally because if I hold my crosshairs here, Do you see where price has stalled out over here? I wish you could talk, but so price is kind of really stalled out over here. And if I put on my line chart, okay, it's not going to be exact because the wicks and stuff are different versus the bodies. The line chart is kind of programmed a little bit differently, but that will give you a really good idea of where price has stalled out. And if I go to the day chart, just eyeballing where it is stalled, this peak, this area, there's a lot of noise in this area. The smarter thing to do would be to draw a box, but I'm just, for the sake of time, kind of busting through. I know I can do that. Where is it? So if I take this one peak and draw it over, so you see here, this area, the lower parts of this, the lower parts of this, and just kind of draw it all the way across. That gives us this zone, if you will, where price is probably going to react. Does it mean it's definitely going to get there? No. The odds are what's going to happen is if it does go up, I mean, obviously the US news is going to be super impactful, but if it does go up, it's going to pull back, probably play around. And if it gets to here, this area, I'll draw another line on these two peaks where price turned around. This would be like your first take profit for those of you who do more than one take profit. Your first take profit would be here. Your next would be here. Your entry, preferably wait for the pullback, would be here. That's too bright of a green to see it, but maybe that bright was better. But to give you an idea, your stop loss would be, you would either put it here or you'd have to put it here. Totally up to you and how you want to do it. More room is better, but obviously it means more risk. If it was me, the safest spot to put this would be down here. Still not a horrible risk to reward ratio. I mean, it's probably close to a 1-to-1. We can measure it together. Hold on. If it will let me know. There we go. Get away from the news. So entering kind of in and around that area, drawing it up. A little bit better than 1-to-1. It's 1.5-to-1 is what you'd be looking at with this trade. And then again, in this zone, if price breaks through, no guaranteeing that it would, but if it breaks through, what you would want to see is you'd want to see it retest. It's going to pull back a decent amount because it's going to knock out everybody who possibly can knock out. Because once it breaks this zone, a lot of people are going to buy. But they're going to have, those kinds of traders have their stops very tight. They're the people that have those 10 pip stop losses. So it's going to knock them all out before it does this and goes to that next level. And why am I stopping right here? It's just because I'm eyeballing it, nothing major, no fancy. I'm eyeballing it in and around this last area. So if you guys can see that, this last area, that's not a perfect color. Let's go to red. Now let's go to red. Just eyeballing it. I don't really think it's an exact science. I think it's consistency and like peace of mind. So that's why I drew the line to here. It's also why I drew the line to here, because when I was looking over, granted I was not on the line chart at that time, I was just eyeballing that last place where price kind of stalled out, where it kind of turned around a bit, where price froze up. That's it. I'm so upset with you. Oh, let's go see US 30. Is it dropping again? Well, not too much more. That's an ascending channel. Here, I'll click on it on here. Yes, that last area was a demand zone that got taken out and became a supply zone. That's correct. It's just supply and demand. I mean, supply and demand technically has a different definition than support and resistance. Technically, they are not the same thing. But here, real quick, we'll go to US 30 and then we'll go back to this. US 30, where I got knocked out of that odd Australian 200. Not even nice. But this, if I go to the 1 minute chart, is an ascending. That's that slant pattern. That's that descending channel. So hopefully we're going to see a pullback. But again, we don't trade this riskily. We don't trade this foolishly. Even if we only went a couple of pips. It's what, 4,800 pips? Or 480 pips in terms of measuring it the way we measure it. So that's a lot of pips just for a small pullback. And most of us who traded US 30 as a strategy, we're going, depending on the broker you use, for it's either counted as 30 pips or 300 pips, depending on the broker you use, obviously. But we'll see. And even in this very moment, it's still pushing down. And Jamie is in this trade, so you guys can all blow up his message real quick. Say, listen, Linda. Listen. That's beautiful. It kept knocking everybody out, and then it dropped. Because that's just how they roll. But yes, I like this trade for those of you who want to take it. This is GBP odd. GBP CAD is no trade. We're still making higher highs. We got a little bit of some of this for those of us who were scalping, but we're staying out. This trade was a losing trade. It just continued to push up. We made higher highs. Now, granted, CHF needs a pullback, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a reversal. So currently we have a double top with wicks. That's beautiful. We have a momentum candle and a pullback, but I'm not super convinced that this is going to be a long-term holdout. So some of us made our money back on this moment right here, but either way, I would need to see a true break and then a retest before I'm going to look at this as a long-term trade. GBP, JPY, same thing, kind of just slanting up a little bit. We don't have any major confirmations to take this yet, unless you're a time the top kind of trader. GBP, NZD, we did kind of push up, and now we are finally down. This is the corrective move. This is the confirmed move we're looking for. But again, for those of you who are in or looking to get in, be mindful that there's an area right here that we have to kind of pay attention to. So good chance it's going to come up to right around here and then decide what it wants to do. But we did break through that zone. So now having broke through that, you've got a really, really confirmed entry, a really, really confirmed trade. What you do with that is up to you. GBP USD, we took that trade. It did not go near as far as we wanted it to, but as we know, GBP was just playing around. That is profitable. It's a fast mover, so it's 100 pips. But again, even if you only took your 50 because of how you had your trade manager set up, 50 is enough. It is, I promise, enough. NZD CAD is going up, 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 up. We were in the buy. It definitely pulled back for a while. And we said this was going to go up. I don't have it drawn on here anymore, but this was the one we were looking to go up and up and up. It finally did that, but you have to consider that this was September, October, and we're in December. So that's what it means to be a swing trader. When you guys see these trades and you're like, how do people catch this move? Well, this one's easy. It happened immediately, and every day you're in profit, so you're happy. But most of the time when we enter our trade, this is what we're looking like. This is what we're looking at. So it's not the same. It's okay. So we took the trade. We're expecting this to go up. We made some money, but it pulled down. It made a double bottom. So let's say we were brave enough to take another entry. Most people would have given up on it because they're unsure of what price is doing. But either way, let's say we take another entry. To follow this all the way through is hard. It's mentally and emotionally hard. Brent, Australian 200 knocked me out. I lost $18,000 last Wednesday. 18,000 in a day. That was mostly on that pair. Well, that pair and GBP CHF. Single day. But that's okay. It's real life. If you guys want to be a successful trader, you have to be willing to say, hey. So the reality is, if you just are willing to load your accounts, $100, $200 every 2 weeks or something, depending on your budget and your lifestyle. And sometimes you're going to not have to reload. And other times you'll reload a different account, which is what I would recommend. I would continue to follow your budget. And if you don't need it in that account that you're currently growing, I would literally put that same $50 or $100 or $200 into a different account and continue to do so. And then as you're trading it every 2 weeks or every week, you're going to withdraw, like in terms of some of your trading styles. And other times you're going to hit $50,000, you're going to withdraw. Other times you're going to hit your $5,000 and go buy a car. Like, you guys can do that if you're willing to stay the course. So NZD Chef, similar story, but I'm not looking to take another entry at this point because, well, it's made a big move. We need a pullback. NZD JPY, beautiful, beautiful. We were in this trade. We discussed another entry last week. That was when it was doing this. But I took a lot of the JPY pairs, all of them but GBP, only for that trailing stop kind of not swing setup, but, you know, catch the move moment, if you will. But either way, this is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, but it takes a long time. This is October. This is November. And we're currently in December, to give you guys an idea of how long this took. So just got to kind of be a little bit mindful of that. This USD Chef, we did not take the trade. I was looking at this trade this morning to possibly take it. As you guys can see, the this little stop loss and take profit is way over here. If I were looking to enter, granted there's US news, I would wait for the pullback. I'd wait for it to pull back a healthy amount before we took it back down. Not a fast mover, not a lot of risk, not a perfect risk to reward ratio, but still worth it in my opinion, because it's not a fast mover. It's not super volatile. So to me, it's easy. This we went over on the video already. We're breaking through. I wanted to wait for the pullback, but I was a sleepyhead. I wanted to go to bed. So we caught most of it. I think it was a couple pips in drawdown when I finally went to bed. It was up, I think, 40 pips when I woke up this morning. I haven't checked it since. But again, if we can hold it, and it doesn't mean you can, take your 50 pips and be happy, or wait for the pullback, wait for the confirm move, and take 50 pips 3 times. Because this I can definitely see going close to, 200 pips. This has moved. I don't know why, but, I was looking for approximately 200 pips. If we break this area of structure, I only put the fibs on here so you guys could see it. I picked the 200 pip take profit based off of other areas price has stopped. Okay. That's how I see the markets, though, if that makes any sense.
Gold's breaking a high.
Gold's making a higher high. That's a fractal entry break. We'll take a look at gold. But it's pulling back on that candle. So now to go to gold, which is what we're scalping. I'm going to skip the rest of that. So many of us have been looking for a buy on gold since back here. Some of us took it. We made a little bit of money. We cashed out in profit, but not much. But again, this is November. This is literally an entire month ago, to give you guys an idea of what swing trading looks like. Now we have this breakout move. We've caught a couple of these buys on the way up. We were catching all of the sells for scalp. But in terms of a 4-hour signal, this is not a bad trade. Mindful of the fact that we've got a lot of US news, Trump and all the drama going on there, the trade war, the GBP election, and now it's December for Christmas. So any trades we take really need to be based off of the 1-hour chart. They need to be the kind of concept that in general, you're going for maybe half of the ADR, you're going for maybe 40 to 50 pips, depending on how fast it moves. You're going for trades a little differently. So you can survive this month, you can withdraw this month if you're willing to adapt to the market conditions. So I am going to, for sake of conversation, pop down to the 4-hour chart. This may or may not give us a pullback. But keep in mind, if you chose to buy now as a swing trade, your chance of drawdown is like close to 100%, give or take, which I'm okay with mentally and emotionally. Some people aren't. So you're probably looking at a drawdown of close to 100 pips, easy, if not more. It's gold, plus there's news. The reason why I'm stopping my cursor here, for those of you who asked in the chat, it's because I just look left. I look left to see where some of this wick action is, where price is rejecting. I don't only use the wicks because the wicks aren't nearly as reliable as, say, the body, but it gives me the worst case scenario. So if I'm going for a take profit, I'm looking at the bodies. If I'm going for possible risk, I'm looking at the wicks, primarily because you plan for the best, or you plan for the worst but hope for the best kind of mentality. It's how I was raised. So you're looking at a probability of close to 100 pips in drawdown if you were to enter now. If you don't enter now, you risk the chance of missing the trade. That's part of trading. You have to make your decision on that. But as you guys can see, we do have some wicks to the top side. This is going to be exhausted. We're probably going to find a pullback is what we're going to find. Now you have to decide what kind of trader you want to be. But that's just where I'm at. If price breaks this high, so just looking to the left, no major science, no perfect lines, no, none of that. Here, here, here. And we can make this a zone even. And draw a box. If price breaks this, like we think it might, you're looking for definitely to come get all those pips. If it kind of reacts here, take it back down and then watch to see what price gives you. But price is definitely going to react. Because look, as we draw this line and continue looking left, look how much reaction we're having in this area. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that's a lot of reaction in this area. So it's going to do something here. But as you guys can see, without drawing it, we also have a W, a double bottom formation. We have our impulse move, which is what we wanted. The impulse move is really the proof that something is going to happen. Because as you see, this was just playing around. This is typical price action. This is the impulse move. These huge candles. This is power, momentum. So that's what we're looking for in terms of gold. That was pretty reasonably timed. Any questions in terms of 4-hour setups or swing trades at this moment for right now? Any at all? Yeah, Scott, I wouldn't buy right there though, because it's been stalling right there. It's going to pull back.
One quick question about TradingView.
Yes, sir.
Are you using the free or are you doing a paid subscription?
I think this costs like $300 and some odd a year.
I think the free one is limited in the number of indicators you can put on a display.
That's correct, yes. Well, not just that, but I use alerts. And so I've bought apps, I've paid for indicators, I've paid for all kinds of stuff, and some are better than others. And I'm definitely not an expert at any of them. I don't pretend to be. But I like the alerts I can set up on TradingView because actually I didn't even know this until our guy on this call, Brent, he showed me, so he's my hero, that it literally comes to my phone and will come to the app on my phone. Before that, it was a text message, but it's perfect in how it works. So for example, the 72 people on this call, I wish I would have paid the 60% off. I paid like 50% off the first year, but now they charge me full price ever since. So that's just how it works.
No, Jenny, when you renew, because mine don't expire to February, so I renewed with the 60% off and only paid like $100 and some odd dollars for 400 and some odd. So they're gonna add like the 365 plus what's remaining left till from now to February.
Oh, so the time that I already paid for?
Excuse me?
They'll just add like, so if I have like 7 months left, they'll just add a year to the time I already have.
Right.
Okay.
At 60%, yeah. So you're gonna be paying the whole $400. You'll pay the 60%. Just add that.
I should.
Yep.
So,
And if when you go to sign up for TradingView, if you do like a little trial and then it ends, pretty much all you have to do is ask them, and they'll give you a discount. Just say, hey, I'm on the fence about it. Can you cut me a deal? And they cut me a deal on mine.
yeah, that's what they do. So when I did the trial, and then they were like, okay, so sign up for 40% off. I was like, okay, you got it. You got it. Okay, so real quick, for those of you who are on this call, legit, this is so simple. And I know that most of you, I'm praying that most of you won't miss it. Let me speak some life and not speak death. When I create different alerts, okay, when I do TradingView, and I've gotten to the habit because of time freedom and mental peace, which I'm working on dramatically in life. I'm going red dot free on my phone. That is my goal. It sounds insane, but I'm telling you it's a thing. Having said that, here's the deal. When I create an alert for TradingView, most of the time when I was doing, granted the market was moving a little differently, so we have to be adaptable. was, I kid you not, I set up an alert for the 8 and the 50 cross on the 4-hour chart. Literally, the 8 and the 50. So this one's my 8, the white one's my 50. When that happened, I literally popped to my charts, or in the morning I would check what alerts I had. A lot of times I'd have a pullback or probably a better entry, and I would take it. When we take it and we use trailing stops, we use trade managers, your accuracy is going to be so high that you should not be losing. You should not be blowing an account. You should be making money. But let's be honest, the volume is down. The amount of money in the market is down. Could be the economic, could be political. I'm not going to pretend to be the scientist who knows all that nonsense, but we can count from 1 to 2 and we know that the market is a little slower. So we also know it's December and the money is different. We saw that a lot of the big moves happened on times when they knew most of us retail traders would not be trading. So they waited until the holiday to drop a lot of those pairs that a lot of us got knocked out of. They literally waited till America was closed, which I find humorous, but either way. What I'm doing now is the 8 and the 33 cross on the 4-hour chart. I have that set up as an alert and I'm turning them off daily. There's a good chance I'm going to change that to the 8 and the 33 on the 1-hour chart. I have it set up on 20-ish pairs, and I'll just pause the alerts when I don't want them. That's a little bit of a pain in the butt because then you don't miss them. Well, then you don't get them if they're paused when you unpause, which kind of stinks. But you also get a little bit of freedom and a little bit of peace in life, and you can still click the charts in the morning. Once you get to your alert, if it lines up with your rules, whatever indicators, structure, whatever you're looking at, easily go take the trade, put in a trailing stop, put in the stop loss, use a manager, do all of those. So quit being lazy. Sorry to be mean, but lackadaisical, to say nicely, on your trade managing. If there's anything you should do extra of, it should be trade managing. So that means stop loss plus take profit plus trailing stop plus trade manager. You should be that dedicated to your management of a trade. And if you're willing to do that, you're going to get quite a few trades a week. Probably don't go more than 5% until you know what you're doing, maybe even less. And especially until you understand the flow of the pair, the average trading range, the ATR and the ADR. And literally your account is going to grow. You'll be up, depending on what you're starting with in your leverage, enough to withdraw by Friday. Today's Tuesday. You will be up that much if you follow those simple rules. I am not kidding. And then once we get past this scalping strategy, I'm going to show you another one that you can set an alert for. And then you pause it when you walk away. You go on with your day. You only trade a couple of hours and it works. You're going to lose and you're going to win. But provided your trade management is amazing, that's it. Cameron, wait. So long story. Sorry, I'm really bad at short stories, but long story short-ish, okay. I was using the 8 and the 50 as a crossover alert on TradingView. However, there's not a lot of volume in the market. It could be the trade wars. It could be 1,000 things. I'm not an economic expert, so I don't want to be the person to sit up here and guess as to why. But what I went down to was the 8 and the 33 on the 4-hour. And I just set up an alert. And every time I got the alert, I check it against my rules. I check it against the arrows, check it against whatever works for you, and take the trade. And when you take the trade, the most important thing you can do is stinking manage the trade, okay? You will be profitable. You will, without a doubt, be profitable. You can create some exit rules and we can discuss them. I would love to collaborate and hear some different pros and cons to ways to exit some of those. But, ooh, you guys can enter gold, but be careful. Take one entry on gold. It made higher high. So Tuesday.
Hey, Jenny, real quick, can you show me real quick how to put the alerts on the EMA at the same time? I know I can do one by one, but.
Yes, okay, real quick, guys, everybody buy gold, trailing stop, trade manager, manage your trade. It probably is gonna pull back. Looks like we might have just enough room to squeeze out enough pips. So we'll see what happens there. How do we create the rules? So currently you have to be on the right time frame. I'm not talking down to one person. I'm talking to the newest and the most experienced. So please understand that. we're on whatever time frame we want. Let's go ahead and go to the 1 hour. So let's say I want to set an alert for the 3 and the 8 and the 33. I'm going to add an alert. Okay. I'm not going to hit gold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit, that should be the 34, but it's not. My 8 and my 34.
Okay, I get it now.
Once
I
per
just
bar.
want to know where you put the other EMA at. Okay.
Yep. Once per bar. If I do only once, that's nice, but then you have to go in there and do it all the time. This is kind of nice because I can have this going on for a long time. So I do once per bar. I found that once per bar close was often too late. I'd rather have it once per bar and then be able to make my decision from there. You should be close on gold. I do notify in the app, show pop-up on the computer. Okay, play sound. I don't do the send a text message anymore. But for example, I'm going to say 8/33 on the 1 hour. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to stretch this out for as long as it will let me. This way I only have to go in there every so often and then change it or update it. So this will give me, almost 2 months. I think it's 45 days, however many days. I don't want to be too specific. And I'll get this alert on my phone. So I can, and if I'm on my computer, I'll get it too. And I hit create.
It's over now. It's a wrap.
Wrap.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys got your 10 pips on gold. Or let's see how many pips is it up.
About 8.
Okay, bye.
I have 12 locked and it's still trailing.
I got 18 on one entry and I'm down on the other. I just took a second entry. 18. Let's see.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Let's go make this money.
Okay, but so does anybody have any other questions in terms of 4-hour swing trades? Please, please, please skip your 4-hour trades. Please go for less pips or manage them appropriately. It's December, lots of holidays, lots of news, end of year. It's so much. I don't want you to say stop trading, because you should be able to. I'm taking another entry. I got 20 pips on one. I'm buying again. That's probably a foolish buy. But that would be my third buy. I'm down on one, up on the other. But I don't like that wick. Because look, even if we only go to here, guys.
Jenny, if you get a moment, can you look at USD CAD also? I got in at the top. There was a triple top. When you get a moment.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. We have about 15 pips most before we see what price is going to do. So I think that we're safe for that one last entry. If it was willing to give it to us, we shall see. But that's what I'm seeing on all that stuff. Here we go. We didn't even go over this. So this was one of the trades we called. It worked out just fine. I did this live on the class. I don't know how long ago, but our stop loss was too tight and it did what it was supposed to do. And now it's still going. You got in on this triple top on what time frame? Jamie?
Well, I'm getting back to it. Looking at the 1 hour.
Okay. Okay. USD is pushing up, but that's mostly, hold on, let me check my currency strength indicator. Let's go play around. Let's do this one.
If you look at the 25th, you look at the 26th, you look at the 29th, and you look at today, 1, 2, 3, actually 4 times. Perfect resistance zone, perfect ceiling.
But CAD is just really weak. I'm sure that's the issue. So as you know, I'm selling USD JPY, and actually my bias is to sell USD SHEP as well. But
I'm selling USD CAD too.
CAD is really, really weak. We would need CAD to be stronger, which is what got us in trouble last week. So let's
Well, I'll tell you
stop
this.
there.
Well, Macron and what's his name? Pumpkin Man is arguing, fighting. So That may be a reasonable line. The market's about to open up in 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
But see that wick to the bottom?
Yep.
All right, so let's play.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's play.
I got my stop loss at 1.33437.
So let's delete all this other stuff from before. Okay. Okay, so here's where we're at. Let's find out how many pips. Oh, this is such a slow mover, Jamie.
Hey, sometimes slow can be good.
I'm getting that, man. There's the whole psychology between like giving signals. I'm like, God almighty, please. Because like I'm not used to thinking about everybody else. It sounds silly, but it's a real thing. And it changes the way your mind sees it. So these safe but sure. So 21 pip stop loss, 100 pip take profit is what you'd be looking at. But it's also, if you were willing to over leverage on USD for NFP week, this is probably a really good trade. You can scale in or out. Okay. So these would be your take profits. Any of these. Pretty tight stop loss. Give it a little room, especially with the news. So do a 30 pip stop loss.
Excuse me.
God bless you. 30 pip stop loss. Who's looking at USD CAD? You know, they said that don't like the quarter points, but no, it's okay, Justin. Like, I'm willing to talk about the quarter points. Like, I just don't know. There's nothing I don't like. And actually stuff I don't like, I'd make it my point to learn. Because the odds are I don't like it because I don't know it or understand it, just so you know. I was a few minutes late getting home and waking up 1 a.m. here. Wow, get some rest. Welcome, though, Robert. Welcome for you guys. It's your first time. Is there a video or something to understand what we're doing with the gold? Yes, there's a video in the pinned post. You're going to be massively lost if you don't watch that first. It's to honor you and to honor me and everybody else on the call. You guys, if you're just now joining, we're going to go to the scalps here in just a second, but it's going to be in your very, very, very best interest to watch that a couple of times, get a hang of it. And then when you come to class, you'll start to get the feel. So I'll make you guys a deal. I'll call this as a trade only once I get my crossover, which would be late. It's going to be later. We'll probably make it more close to there by the time you get the crossover, which will give you a 45 pip stop loss. Still 2 to 1. 2 to 1. It's not bad. So there's that. First time attending. No, you're good. USD clearly stuck at the quarter point 1.3. Let's take a look.
For the new folks, just to be clear, the pinned post that Jenny's talking about is in the Scalp to Freedom group. If you're not a member, ask Donna and she'll get you a link.
Yes. Or just message me and I'll get you a link. We'll change that. She's out right now. Okay, I respect that, Justin. I see that it stopped at the 1.3. I do think price stops there, but hindsight's 2020 and bias is 100%. So that's the problem with our human condition. We all suffer from the human condition. Is when we see something, we are convinced it's there. So if we tell ourselves something, we see something. And that's a super deep level that I am totally not qualified to discuss accurately. But I went to school for psychology and I understand just a quasi tiny amount of the human condition. So the worst part about trading is once you see it, you know, you can't unsee it. The problem is you think you'll always see it when there may not be anything there. It's this whole psychological thing, and it's a real thing, I promise. It is definitely a real thing. which is what makes it hard. Same thing with all of the theories and the Elliott waves and all of them. I kind of feel the same way about Fibonacci. I feel the same way about all of it, which I think is what gives me an edge, is because I don't see the same things that other people see. I see it all as fluid and nothing as law, if that makes any sense. I see none of it as law, because technically we only see what we want to see because we chose to see it, because somebody told us we should see it, or because somebody said it's there. Way, way deep conversation for 9 a.m. and not enough coffee, but that's just me. Yeah, way, way. Okay, I'm down on my last 2 entries in gold. Boo. I'm up 7 pips on one. It's moving again. Please go up. So I'm going to come here, take off the one-click trading, and I'm going to stop share. So I think, guys, that I fixed something. I may be wrong. Don't judge me. But now if one of you guys, for example, were to click share screen, we would be able to share at the same time. And I can probably edit those settings pretty effectively. So I think, but we'll find out as we go. But now we're done with the 4-hour kind of walk through. What we're going to do is pull up our scalp setup here. We've got US 30, which we know this is a good time to trade it. I think this in Asian, but that's a really risky thing to try to sell back down unless you're already in it. And that would have been a perfect entry right there. Perfect entry. Do you guys see that? And there's your 30 pips. The problem is you can't run a trade manager if you're putting US 30 on it. You just can't. You can, but you'd have to program it for just that, and it's a big mess. So what I would like to do, instead of looking at US 30 as much as I would like to, is I'd like to go to GBP odd. And these are the 2 pairs I'm going to have up on my screen. Sound fair? Jamie, did we decide on any other pair? GBP odd and...
Be careful with GBP odd. If you look at AS 200, you'll see there's a massive gap at 6766.76. There's a massive gap there, and you know she likes to fill gaps. So we may see one more push up, a retest, and then the drop. And she's due for a retest anyway. So,
are you talking about Australian 200?
Yes. So which has a which has a big bearing on GA. So just be careful with that. She's still going down, but you know she can pop up at any time. That's one thing about her. She will pop.
She's not even playing. You guys see that drop? I'm livid. That is so bad. I know.
Yeah. Caught it from the top and got out when it closed the gap.
Whatever, Jamie. It knocked me out. I mean, I closed out most of my position. Remember, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I was like, yeah, I'm closing 50%. I closed, what did I close? 50%, and I protected 50%. I protected it, but then I got back in. Yep. What a pain in the butt. And it made a higher high.
You're afraid of both kicking each other in the butt, because Brent and I, we trained her together. But he got out there trading, and he hit me up, and he said, "Jamie, look at this crap." And it did a perfect thing. It did the correction, and it kept on going down. Jeez. Yeah, that was an ugly trade.
We're going to skip GBP odd today. So what, GBP CAD?
Yeah, GBP cash better. I just don't want anybody to get caught in that pullback with GBP odd, because it's gonna be fast.
But that's the pullback we're trying to get.
That's what you want? You want to buy her up?
I want to catch the move, silly butt. Like, I want to say, okay, we know odd's going to do something. I can't believe how much it dropped.
Yeah.
People's children, like these people. These people's children.
You went that heavy?
Huh?
You went that heavy?
I went
Yeah. Okay. I know that giggle. Okay. We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Brent, you missed that too, didn't you? Didn't you? We got put away. I know. It made a higher high, but I was traveling and I had my I don't know, we've got like 50 some odd computers and devices in this house. It's really unhealthy. But I had my little mini MacBook because it's like my MacBook Air is just really light and easy to travel. And I was gonna pull it up, but I didn't. I even bought the Wi-Fi's on the planes and everything, and it was just, it kept kicking me out of my VPS and it wasn't working anyways. So I was like, okay, you know what? Everything's in place. My managers are in place. I have to let it go. And I did let it go. I saw somebody messaged, oh, I think it might have been you. It was like, it just made the high, all-time high. I was like, freaking great, people. Great.
Yeah. I stacked way too hard on it when it was coming up on that all-time high. And then but I held it and it was real close to wiping me out. And then so I held it, went through all that, and then me and Jamie got out when it closed the gap, and then we just watched it all day. We're like, oh no. That was dropping. But
Man, that's not good. Not good.
we're learning. We're learning.
Sometimes it's better to not know what you're doing. I've been sitting in it forever.
That's it. Who said that?
Eric.
Eric, listen, you owe me a Coke. Okay, I don't even drink soda. Fine, you owe me a coffee. A coffee, I'm telling you, because we knew what we were doing and we still missed it. And your butt came in here and got it anyways. So no, we're not friends, Eric. Period. Telling you, that thing cost me $18,000.
Oh,
$2,000 on the.
Oh my goodness.
hey, don't feel bad. I missed out on 14 grand on that trade dropping after the gap fill.
Yeah, but you missed it, didn't lose it, don't you? Listen, I missed the 50,000 I could have made on it, but I lost the 18,000 I actually had. Okay, that was already mine.
Well, we're gonna make it back. We're gonna make it back times two.
Oh yeah, see, I'm not worried about it. I was thinking about, like I said, I was thinking about somebody in the group and like what I wanted to do, and I'm flying back home again in December to spend the holidays with my family. So I was like, okay, if I withdraw, I just have a couple small accounts. Again, I still have my huge account that I just kind of compound for like a house, but that's really slow and it's not fun or exciting. It's just really slow. So I'm going to take a couple, one for scalping, one for swing. I'll withdraw, a reasonable amount. I want to bring some stuff for a friend and make a difference. Like that to me is happy. That to me is good. So $18,000 isn't anything. Once you guys really understand that you guys literally, this skill set is a license to print money.
Yes, amen.
Miss Jamie, with kind of where the economy is and how these indexes are all pushing up like that, you got to think it's going to go back up there again and it's going to come down again. So we just got to be watching.
Hey, Brett, did you say Miss Jamie? So were you talking to
That's what I thought I heard too.
or were you talking to Mr. Jamie?
Well, when I said 35 was young, you disagreed with me, so now you got to accept it.
Wait a minute, who? Oh.
Yeah, I thought he said Miss Jamie.
Hey, I don't resemble that remark. I do not resemble that remark.
Jamie don't wear those red bottom shoes. He's a mister.
That's right, Brent. Good cleanup, buddy. Good cleanup.
Long as he doesn't put on the lip gloss, I'm okay.
Hey!
Lip gloss and mascara is like my
Hey!
go-to. Seriously.
Hey!
Okay. That's for Jenny, not Jamie.
No, seriously, Brett, were you talking to Miss Jenny or Mr. Jamie?
That's what they were talking about, all the confusion between the two of your names.
No, I was
Well,
talking
Dan,
to you,
because
Jenny.
you said that you can't play with my new laptop.
Hey,
Gotta show
I'll take back everything Aliqua said about you, Jamie.
them. Hey, we're moving on USD CAD, by the way. USD CAD's on the move. USD CAD's on the move. Hey, help me out here. Help me out here. Lip gloss and red bottoms. Good God.
Those are cute shoes.
I think we need to do a poll. There's nothing wrong with red bottoms for men. If you go to like the Met Gala and all that, you're gonna see a whole bunch of strong, burly men wearing red bottoms. There's nothing wrong with red
They may
bottoms.
look
There's nothing
strong.
wrong with Louis Vuitton.
Look,
Okay,
they may
Jamie,
be strong
I'm gonna buy
and
you a
burly.
pair for your birthday, and you're gonna wear
You
them
better
too.
not. You don't
Gotcha.
even know my shoe size, boo-boo.
13, 14,
Just-
15.
Just buy him a man bag. What do they call them? Those
Hey,
man.
real quick, you guys want to take an entry in gold? We might get stopped out. It's got a lot of resistance in this area. This entry's up, but we have another signal saying go. But we kind of are at the max of our ATR. That's a risky one. We know that there's structure that's right up here. There's a lot of structure. There's a supply zone right here.
Also be aware that we are just playing right around the ADR for the day.
The ADR. Well, that's right. You got your Swiss Army knife. I can't see that, Scott. I don't get to see that information. See? You're right.
If you
around-
put your ADR indicator on, you would.
I'm just picking on you. It's okay. I'm picking on you.
Yeah, it looks like a
Even
double
ATR?
top.
I got this one on. Actually, a friend sent me another one too. I haven't downloaded it yet. And it looks pretty promising. It looks pretty good.
It's right around there.
Oh, right there. Oh, I know that indicator. Yeah. I don't have that one on here. Oh, do you
Yeah,
mean
that's where-
you have it built into this, huh? Or no?
No, you have one that you use on the 4-hour charts that will give you a line where the ADR high and low is.
Look at right here, ADR high. My ADR high is here.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Huh. But this is a really tiny time frame too, though.
Right. But the ADR is built off of the daily.
This is true. Yes, sir. This is true. But
It
people,
just kind of gives you a point of where you might see a cessation of action if it's pushing, but it's if you got a powerful move, it'll still exceed it. I mean, I forget what pair it was yesterday that actually made my ADR indicator go inverted. So the ADR high was below the ADR low. It had moved so far, so fast.
Wow, that's weird.
You can't just broke resistance. You can't just broke resistance. We're on the way, baby. Let's go.
what broke resistance?
You can look at it on 5 minutes. Look at it. Got my 10 pips. I'm just letting it ride.
If you guys want to take a scalp on UCAD, you can. For like the actual long, that would be in the right direction.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Take an entry on USD CAD. But Jamie, that's the 200. It might bounce around right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said I secured my 10. I'm just letting it ride now.
It's 6, 9. Figure here. It would have to be here, give or take.
Yeah, I got in at 33,166.
Brent, we're approaching the daily high from 9 days ago on gold.
I've been messing around, going and plotting the daily highs on gold and just kind of seeing how it reacts to that, and it's pretty interesting.
Oh, well, what I was getting ready to say was we trade that. A lot of people trade that a little differently. So I am going to enter USD CAD. It really shouldn't hit your stop loss because it just might take forever. So it's a little harder to compound. But in terms of the average daily high, I'll go back to that real quick. Advanced portion share, check. I'm getting good at this. Oh, and that last entry on gold's hitting. It's protected now. I got 20 pips, 20 pips. Not bad.
That's what I meant by that. Is I'm thinking it's probably going to go up and test that high there.
I'll be right back, guys.
What's that?
I'll be right back. Let me grab some coffee. You guys can still talk. Sorry, I went to go grab coffee. Well, actually, I put my coffee in the Keurig real quick, and I'm gonna go run and grab it because I got that like dry spot in my throat. And I didn't have my water in here. You guys can still talk. Don't have to worry about me. Seriously, that last entry on gold closed. I'm dying to know how many pips that is because how I have it set up right now, I'm getting more pips than I was before. And I don't know why. I'd like to be able to quantify why, personally.
I'm stopped out of UCAD Korean.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wait to enter as soon as it pulls back. I've even got it pulled up. Gold is still pushing. That's a risky call. Very, very risky.
No. Oh shit.
What did you do?
US 30 hit my take. I have to move it. Damn it.
Watch your language.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Mute.
US 30 hit my TP. I forgot to move it.
Oh, what a bad problem to have, Jamie. Really, with your whining self. You know that?
Always.
God
Give me
doesn't
pass.
like ugly.
Look, if you knew what I just closed out at, you'd be like, Jamie, you should have moved your take profit.
Keyword profit.
Mm-hmm.
Guess whose birthday's coming up next week?
Whose birthday is it?
Jamie's birthday's coming up next week.
Ooh, really? Happy birthday. How old? Okay, I know we can't ask how old you're going to be. Okay, well, what are you going to do for
He
your
got
birthday?
5 days. He got like 5 days till his birthday.
30. I'll be 37.
Ha.
It sounds good. Oh man, I need to find another entry.
UK went up.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
I'm waiting. I'm up 7 pips on, that's my 5th entry on gold. Well, that's my 4th entry on gold. I entered one on UCAD on a different account. I'm going to re-enter UCAD once I get a confirmation on our strategy here. This even, hey, look guys, that gold is also, again, it's protected. I'm up 17 pips.
Dang it. Dang it, dang it.
15. That's not bad. I don't know what we did differently, guys, but it's working. However, we have the trade manager set up this time, it's working differently. I'm averaging like anywhere from 15, 13 to 20 pips per close. So it's kind of awesome.
Jenny, are you using that one that's in the group, that runs thing?
Yep, I will show you the settings. We've been playing with it. And again, I'm not going to claim proprietary anything. This is just how we currently have it set up, and it's working better than what we had before. So right now I have it set at a 22 pip take profit. I think I'm going to change that. 25 pip stop loss, place stop loss and take profit. Although I like to have it hidden, but I kind of like being able to see it lately. 10 pips to lock in profit, 10, and we'll lock in 6 of them classic. 4 pip trailing, and then step, doesn't matter because it's not turned on. All open orders, and alert is set to false.
Jenny, one other thing, I don't know if you saw this, I posted in the group yesterday about the reason why Franz didn't trail you on that fast move the other day. It only will take a look at trades if there is a tick on the chart on which it is loaded. So if you have a really slow moving pair where there's very little activity, it's not going to be looking to take things on things that are moving quickly. So whatever pair is moving fast, that's where you should put it. When I rewrite this, I'm going to take care of that problem and actually run it on a timer so that's not reliant on ticks. Did I lose you? Or are you still with me?
No, I'm thinking, but gold is one of the faster moving pairs, but it doesn't count pips and ticks the same. So would that be
No, it's just whenever there's a price change that comes in and moves things, that's a tick.
So currently
It's not
on USD CAD, which is a very slow mover, right?
Right. So you might be better off on gold or something that's refreshing often. As long as it's refreshing, you're okay. But if you got something that is stalling for a second or 2 seconds between ticks, then if you have something that's moving quickly, it's not going to update.
Okay, so now I've got it on my gold chart over here. That was the 4th entry on gold. I think I got over 60 pips. And now I'm waiting to re-enter USD CAD on this one. But we're bullish according to our neutral. Let's check the 5.
Jenny, on that trade manager, when you trade it on another pair, you're keeping the same settings?
Well, that's just it. So we can't, we're pretty sure of structure on USD CAD. So I don't mind going for the full 10, but in general, you should only be trading this strategy on fast movers. Things like GBP pairs, gold, silver, indices are okay, but they move too fast. Even GN, I love GN. GN was one of the original pairs tested for this strategy, but I think it kind of hits the stop too often. So you're only looking to do this. EN is actually a good one. Most Euro pairs are good. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for an entry on USD CAD. I'm going to grab my coffee. You guys are allowed to talk. I just went and put it under the Keurig real quick, okay? I'll be right back.
So what pairs have y'all guys been scalping with of late and making nice on the pips? Has it just been gold that you guys been hitting on, or other pairs, or what? I know Jamie just recommended UCAD. What else have you been looking at? I've been out of the loop for a little bit. On error, but I'm back in it, so I'm just trying to figure out what you guys been doing.
This morning I did a lot of gold during the London session, and it continued now. And then also I was looking at GBP odd earlier this morning, but I get up for the London session, which is about midnight my time. Then I normally go to sleep and wake up, but I stayed up because just watching everything.
Well, good thing we watch USD CAD.
Jenny, what broker are you attached to right now?
Hugo's Way.
I'm on Hugo's demo. It's only just now starting a retracement.
On Hugo's demo?
It's way different.
Huh. Well, I told you guys the demo is very different, guys, on every broker, on any broker. And actually here, I've told you guys that people have messaged me like the most, how do I say that? But overinflated self-consensus effect that they would really think that anybody's going to take the time to kind of hack their computer or hack their broker. But between internet, locations, servers, VPS, brokers, computers, time, I mean, you could be in the same internet in the same area and still have slightly different results on the same broker sitting right next to each other. So those are all variables. And when you put that into perspective, like imagine the chaos in one room when you have 7 or 8, good traders, different pairs, well, same pair, same broker, same server, same internet, different computers. The indicators aren't going to look the same. Nothing is going to be exactly the same. So that's why, scalping gets really risky, is because it's minute by minute, whereas on a bigger time frame, you're looking at the bigger picture. So it's obviously a lot more effective and a lot less stressful. But there's so many variables, especially when it comes down to demos and so many things, that it's crazy.
Yeah, I think if people want to really seriously scalp, they need to invest in the VPS, or really invest in a high-powered PC and keep it optimized, and then make sure you have a very good internet connection.
Yeah.
I think of all of those, the most important thing is the internet connection.
Yeah, agree. I won't disagree with that one, brother.
Because the only thing, knowing how the software is written in here, the only thing that can make a difference. Go ahead.
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yep. The only thing that makes a difference, or the only thing that could make a difference, is if you're not getting some of the ticks in, so that you're not getting the same decisions made. There is, between me and the server just sitting in Tucson, Arizona right now, I've got about a 60 millisecond delay. but that's not that much.
Yeah, I just think some people don't do any cleanup of their MetaTrader 4. They may have a lot of pairs open, and so it just kind of bogged things down.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not magic. And the folks with MetaTrader, who created MT4, they could have done a lot more to improve how it functions.
Well, the other thing, MetaTrader 4 to MetaTrader 5 is a pretty big jump. It's pretty different. And they have, they've allowed for multiple cores. The thing is that MT4 it was written for the Windows 2000, Windows,
Gotcha.
not even quite up into Windows. It's XP. It ran on XP very well.
Okay.
And so if you look at the system resources, even having a bunch of charts open, it is using only about 100 meg of RAM. So a lot of RAM doesn't even make much difference. And it's only using one core of a processor. So a big multi-core processor doesn't really make that much difference. What does make a difference is the speed of your internet connection and the reliability of same.
Well, wouldn't you guys say that the most important thing you can do is have it hardwired in? So quit trying to Wi-Fi. I know we live in a world where we think Wi-Fi is enough. But like legit, if you take your cord that goes from your router and you plug it into your computer, that's going to solve up most of your problems.
Absolutely.
Everyone wants to Wi-Fi in, but when we're using this kind of stuff, Wi-Fi is going to be way too slow. So just get over yourself, get next to the modem, plug it in, hardwired, and do it, because it'll make the
Or get a long cable.
Nothing. Yeah, even if you had a fast Wi-Fi, I mean, the integrity that you'll have with a Cat6 cable or whatever, a Wi-Fi can never compare to it, because you're dealing with interference and all sorts of things.
Yeah, depending where you live, I live in a townhouse complex where I probably see somewhere around 25 or 30 access points, all broadcasting out there. Getting stable Wi-Fi was a battle. I had to go with a mesh system in order to finally get stable Wi-Fi here.
Gotcha. Or you could scan different, I'm not going to take it that far, but you could try different channels.
I've been there, done that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. But we don't want to take it too far. Okay, gotcha. Everybody and their mama got their Wi-Fi, just advertising.
But yeah, definitely hardwired is the way to go.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And get a UPS on your system too, so your battery backed up. It won't help you if your network goes down outside the house, but getting a battery backup will allow you to survive a trade if power goes out.
Yes, that's very wise.
VPS will allow you to survive a trade if the power goes out too.
Repeat that, Jenny?
I didn't catch that, Jenny.
A VPS will allow you to survive the trade if the power goes out too, though.
Yes, absolutely true. As long as you have your stops and take profits in place.
Yeah. Well, as long as you have your, I think that I had that aha moment, like looking through some of the previous trades called, and I looked through a lot of Elvis's and even Pat's, and I just went through kind of looking at some of the results. If you guys are using a trade manager, some of you guys, and it explains why some of you guys are doing well, is some of you guys are managing your trades like super, super well, but they're pretty fire. But those people, like, you'd want to put your stop loss in, you want your take profit, you want a trailing stop, and you want a trade manager. You want it all. Like, that's the most important thing. Quit buying indicators and systems and coaching. Buy that, okay? Buy a trade manager. Buy information, buy knowledge. Because no one can take that from you, ever.
Jenny, do you run a similar like trade manager on all the different pairs, or are they unique to each pair based on what you've learned?
Okay, so I have a couple. My favorite trade manager is with a private company that I'm not allowed to share. So it works really well. The only deficit that I have with it is that it doesn't do the whole trade on all pairs thing, But how that one works is it will scale me in and scale me out of the trade. Meaning, it will close 40 pips, 40% after I hit 30 pips. It will move my stop into profit by 5 pips once I hit 20 pips. It'll apply a trailing stop of 15 pips once I hit 25 pips. Like it's written amazingly well. The only thing I don't like about it, and I understand why it is that way, is that I can't like put it on my chart and then any trade I open up, it will manage in that fashion. So for example, if it's on my GBP JPY trade and I open a GBP JPY trade from my phone, it will manage it. But if I open a GBP USD trade from my phone and I don't have it up on my chart, or for whatever reason, my BPS, for whatever reason I wasn't running, then I don't have any management on that. So management is the key. But my understanding is Vernus Washington has a pretty good one. I'm probably going to get it just so I can use it with you guys. I think Aliqua has it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't manage all trades, right? Who has that one? I think
Are you talking about
Aliqua
Metagrid?
does. Yeah.
Does that one manage all trades or no?
I don't think so.
No,
That's the only
Yeah.
problem with it, is it doesn't manage all trades.
you got
That's
to
why I
like
haven't
maybe you have to clone it or use a VPS, and I don't know, but I do one at a time.
Ugh.
Ugh. See? Ugh. So this trade right here, to finish your question, this manager is simple. It's cheap. Only deficit is it stopped working on my AFX account, and that's where I keep most of my big money. That's where I do most of my big trading. I've used other brokers like LMFX and FX Glory. I've used other high leverage brokers, but the biggest problem I had is when I wanted to withdraw, they did not give me my money, and that's the biggest no-no in trading. And of course, when there was an issue, they don't honor it. So Hugo's Way, at least if there's an issue and it's on them, they're going to honor it. AFX, if there's an issue, they're going to honor it. For the most part, that's been my experience. So the only deficit to this one that we currently have on the screen is it doesn't scale you in and out. And B, it's not currently working on my AFX accounts. So,
But do you use the same settings for all the pairs for, say, swing trading, or each pair has a different setting?
Well, that's just it. So I've gotten really proficient at how I trade things. And for example, if I have a US 30 trade or an Australian 200 trade, I don't have anything else running in that account. So I don't have a trade manager running, or I have to have that special one that I told you is part of a different company. I have to have that on there. So for example, that one does indices very well because I can click a button that makes it for indices, and then poof, it understands what I'm saying in indices speak. If I'm doing a GBP pairs, I have this same one set up with obviously much higher trailing stops and higher take profits and higher stop losses. And then if I'm using anything else, I have a different setting. But you can technically create it pretty wide and pretty generic, and it will work reasonably well. So for example, if you're swing trading and you did a rather large stop loss of say 100 pips or 75 pips, 200 pip take profit, you did a 45 pip trailing stop. Well, now that we know how this works a little differently, my mind is actually working a little differently on it. Hold on, let's find out. So say you had 75 pip stop loss, 200 or 150 pip take profit, you would lock in at least 20 pips. That's going to work on most pairs, even GBP pairs. The only deficit is GBP pairs. That's not very much, obviously, but it's very safe. So there's that. You have to take it where you can get it sometimes. Profit to lock after 20 pips, you would lock in like maybe 5 or 6, which would give it some room, especially for a GBP pair. And then trailing stop, I had it set to step by step, but I'm kind of thinking I like this better. What I would do is I'd have like a 15 pip trailing stop, which would allow it room to move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, even on GBP pairs, you do a 15 pip trailing stop.
What it's gonna knock you out like 99.9999% of the time, but you're also not gonna lose 99.99% of the time. So you have to take it where you can get it. Like, so Scott, he seems to be the expert in creating stuff like this. So he may be able to create one, in which case we would not,
It's next on my list.
Yeah, we would just put it with the group and we would code it because him and I are going to have an arrangement like to where he'll be compensated in a different way, and we will code it with the group, and it will be his intellectual work and our ideas kind of together. So if we can create that in a way where the brokers can't manipulate it, such as AFX, who locked it for some reason, I think we have some really good ideas that will allow us to scale in, scale out, number one. But for now, it depends on the kind of trader you want to be. You can loosen that up, but just know that you have two options. You can loosen it and then manually manage your non-GBP trades a little bit more closely, or you can keep it tight and you'll catch most of your non-GBP trades. You'll catch most of that move and you'll catch the safest part of the GBP trades. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. And the kind of trader I want to be is the kind that actually makes money. So.
The other thing to remember is that when you set up the profit or the trade manager, what it's going to do is if you set it to manage all pairs, it's going to manage everything on the account that you're logged into. So you'll want to have multiple copies of a platform, so you have an AFX platform and a Hugo's platform and whatever. Get as many platforms as you want so they can each be logged into a set of accounts. And then if you want to make sure that there are different accounts for each one of those trade managers so that it will only manage the trades of a certain style.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm only doing scalping on Hugo's way right now, and then AFX and CoinX are doing swings. So I see that.
Because you might want to set one up for pound pairs, so you can set different parameters for your pound pairs. But all those platforms need to be awake and alive with the take profit manager running.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I didn't understand it. What do you mean it has to be awake and alive? Like,
well, I mean, it has to be actually running. You can't close the platform because it's being managed from your platform.
Oh, God. So I have a VPS. That's not an issue. So yes, if you don't have a VPS, no trade manager matters. So don't bother.
Well, that's not quite true. You can run a trade manager on your own platform as long as you're stable and you got good stable Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but you got to think it's going to eat up your computer. So for anybody who's bought an expensive computers, it's a lot. So you can go buy a $5,000 computer, and if you have it running 24/7 just for these little silly programs, you're going to burn out very expensive computers very fast because they're constantly running, they're constantly working, they're constantly thinking, they never rest. Especially Windows needs to be turned off. So yeah. I don't know. That's just my perspective. Sorry, I'm a Mac girl. I can run this for 20 years though. So.
We're getting a bullish cross on gold, by the way.
Bullish cross. Guys, we're hitting resistance. We're in profit on that. I've got 5 trades. I'll have to count the pips. We're really maxed out though. Judgment call. We'll get enough pips on it. That's 5.
Oh, you're on 5 minutes. That's why you're okay.
We'll get enough pips on it if it goes back up and retest that wick. I'll enter. If it matches the rules. That's so iffy. There's that fractal, guys. There you go. I'm in. This account had 150 yesterday. I think it has 200 today.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right about the PC with their memory features. That's been going on forever, Jenny.
I know, right?
If Microsoft would have ever just buckled down and solved it in the early days, But I guess, when you make so much money, you just don't give a darn. They're just like, hey, reboot. 3-finger salute, all control delete. Yeah. They've been saying that forever.
Jenny, are you drinking that nasty coffee again?
I was tempted this morning and I really like you guys and I probably should turn my brain on, but I couldn't make myself swallow it today. So I have a meat coffee today, but I haven't had like any meat. Well, I had meat on Sunday because we went to Red Lobster, but I couldn't
I was
like
wondering the same thing about that coffee.
this
Yeah,
is
I think there may be a correlation between the nasty coffee and the loss on the Audi 2000 because I'm drinking Cinnabon coffee with hazelnut cream and I'm up 293 pips on that Aussie.
Oh baby, look at that.
So I think it may be the coffee. Let's just keep an eye on that.
Okay,
Hey,
okay. As I told you, you owe me a coffee, and it better be a tasty coffee, like
See,
a
this-
yummy
Pretty
coffee.
good.
Okay.
that's sweet enough to wear red bottom shoes for a guy, huh?
93.
Well, we might be pushing that, Derek. We might be pushing our limit.
Not quite, huh?
I know, right? Oh my gosh. So nasty coffee. Ugh. Okay, if I showed you that, it's supposed to be like that brain boosting octane fuel crud. Kind of tastes like death. It's not yummy. And it's funky. It's not yummy.
I was wondering because you mentioned it, and then my daughter was talking about a coffee, and I said, I think that's the coffee Jenny was talking about.
Oh, good. Oh, well, I didn't lose like 12 pounds like DJ because is DJ on here? DJ, are you here? What have you been eating?
Yes, I'm on here.
What, okay, other than a burrito, I watched the movie. Of course, my boys love it. What have you been eating that's not a burrito?
That's really been my go-to, Jenny.
Burrito diet.
Yeah, I've been hitting Chipotle up for a long time, just getting sofrito burritos, basically. But I've been eating a lot of beans and rice and guacamole, and and then whatever my wife concocts. She like cooked this cauliflower imitation chicken the other day. It tastes like barbecue chicken. It was pretty good, but
Are you gonna send me the recipe from your wife, please? Yes.
I'll I think she got it from like Pinterest or something like that.
I know I've been looking on there.
Now, what type of rice are you guys using? Just regular white rice or what?
I'd use brown rice.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. Okay.
Yeah, but
Quinoa is
I
really
kind of
better than rice.
plateaued.
Quinoa is better than any rice. If you're gonna do
Ooh.
Say that again. What kind?
quinoa is not rice. It's like a grain seed, kind of look like couscous. But,
Oh, okay. How do you spell it properly? Do you know?
Amazing.
Quinoa.
I'm sorry. P-I?
Quinoa.
Oh, I've seen that before. Okay, got you.
If you guys
That's got
have
a nice
I want you to
flavor.
read those ingredients on that coffee bag. I'm just really, I'm an ingredient girl. I need to see what all kinds of stuff, goodies is in that coffee.
Oh, Liqua, you got me looking at everything now. Even when it says organic, you got me looking at the labels, and I'm putting stuff back now. Thank you.
Good job.
Hey, also, you guys should try Beyond Beef, like hamburgers. Those are pretty good too. It's like it tastes just like hamburger meat, but there's no meat at all in it.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's too many chemicals in it for me.
G odds dropping if anybody wants to stop eating.
Amy said I wasn't allowed to play with that today, just so you guys know.
Oh, you weren't?
Ooh. Gee, I just dropping like none.
How rude. Some people's kids. It's okay. It's okay. I'll forgive him today. For today only.
It's only temporary pleasure. Trust me. You want the bigger move.
Oh, with Jihad?
Yes. You want the bigger move. That's only temporary pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it.
Only temporary pleasure. I told you it was gonna happen. Y'all didn't believe me. It's okay.
I told you I wanted part of it, and you were like, no, you don't want to risk that.
Scalping is temporary pleasure.
Generally, I'll shut up.
I'm gonna tell you what real pleasure is. When you got a trend for about 150 to 200 pips and you can scalp off of it like crazy. Now that's some pleasure. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just a little fellow. Just a little powder.
Yes,
Just a
Professor.
little.
But
Yes.
pleasure's going to be when you get your new laptop in. That's what.
Yes,
You,
Professor.
it's already in the route. It's in Pennsylvania. Trust me. I'm tracking it. All thanks to Lisa and Derek. Appreciate you guys, because I sure needed a new laptop.
That was all Derek.
Oh no, he's
Gotta
good.
cut it back.
Ooh, baby. Hey Scott, this right here where it tells you the lot size. So I've taken 6 trades. One was a loss, but most of them aren't 10 pips anymore because the way we have the trade manager set up. So it's more 1-to-1, which would be 5 winning trades instead of having to count it as 2 losses. That gold trade I took was a loss.
Yeah, I stopped out in profit on that one.
I didn't see. And then, so like I said, all of our experiences are going to be a little variable. But when you take ownership, and that's the whole purpose of this, it can still be very, very, very good. It won't be the exact same because there's just too many variables. But 5 trades averaging, 15 to 20 pips a piece is pretty good, considering like for an hour just hanging out and talking about can't believe it's not beef or butter or something. That's not bad.
It's better than saying welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, it is true. Except for, sorry, Aliqua, look, you've got me on board. I'm going to work on cooking, not so much meat. I'm not going to make any unhealthy or like super extreme decisions. I'm going to kind of start to balance it in as I use up what's in my freezer and as I learn to cook a different way, because I like to cook a pretty meal. Not every day. I mean, some days we just have leftovers and stuff, but I like to like cook a pretty meal and like I have to learn to do this if I'm going to do this. So having said that, quinoa is nasty. That's not good.
I watch him Aisha on YouTube. So
I'm about to pick some up.
Guys, you guys
right, we could start a new decade eating healthier.
We are, but come on, like, can't we have something?
Healthy.
Do things in moderation, Jenny.
Let's start a new page. Nasty but healthy, huh?
Yeah, you got me drinking. I'm drinking nasty coffee. We're gonna have nasty this.
No, I don't have you doing that. That's on your own.
I know.
That's on you.
Then you're gonna walk by a bunch of guys. They're gonna say, "Woo, she's nasty."
Yeah, whatever. They know I'm a good girl. They know they don't say anything.
Derek always instigating.
It takes a guy literally like an hour before they're like, oh, whoa. Oh, you actually are that person. Yeah, no, I really am. Thanks. Yeah. I am not for you. So how I turn a guy down, and I'm pretty effective at it, is I just say I'm not your type. It works.
Wow.
I say that a whole bunch because I'm not a lot of people's type. So, but if you give them a reason, then the problem is they can like try to change it and they can try to undo it. There's my move. But if I tell them
giving guys a challenge when you say that, because you know that guys are hunters.
Yeah, see, if I just tell them I'm not your type, like it works on 90% of them. So most of them they don't have the tenacity to go beyond that. There's a few who are like, well, actually you are. I'm like, no, trust me. If you were my type, if I was your type, I would know. Yeah. Don't you think I would know? Like seriously, I probably would know. It's just a thought. I would.
So Jenny, what's your New Year's plans?
Okay, so I'm 50-50. I haven't decided. We're gonna go back home for Colorado. I might either fly back to Florida and do something, hang out with a friend, or I might go up to New York actually. So the people I met in New York, they have a huge New Year's Eve thing. Probably not my scene, but I think that I need to start getting new experiences anyway. So,
New York.
Why not? Like, look, I've spent all this time building businesses and raising kiddos, and like life is changing. My older ones are older.
Yeah.
So, and if the children are, for example, still in Colorado, there's not a huge reason why not. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might keep it simple, and we shall see. What about you? Are you guys Jamie, Alika, you guys coming stateside? Are we gonna go get a massage and maybe go out in New York City or something?
But I have no desire to go in the wintertime, I tell you that. I can keep all the snow, the cold. I'm enjoying my 90-degree weather, 80-degree weather.
I agree. Well, no, I'm starting to feel you on that.
And that's from a Jersey
Just 'cause you
girl.
wanna get warm.
Horrible, horrible.
Jersey.
Yeah, and I used to live in Colorado for 10 years. Was
And-
deployed to Bosnia. So, you know, I understand, but I've been in the Middle East so long where I got declimatized, if that's a word. So
It's okay. It's a word. It's a word. It's a word. Okay, so what are you guys gonna do for New Year's and Christmas? Does anybody have any amazing plans? Is anybody gonna do anything? Anybody want to fly somewhere and do something?
Are we taking another entry on gold?
No, the entry would be here. Well, here, this is the 5 minute. I wanted to measure to see what would have happened if we did take it at the bottom. So my last entry got stopped. Scott's made money, but I'm taking it from mine. We're all going to be slightly different boats, guys. It's just real life. So I got stopped out here. This would have been our next entry. We would have already won it already. Hold on. We would have won it. It would have been done. But we did not. So now
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
right now, you can't take my win by to mean anything because my brokerage is so different right now. I'm only just now crossing the 50.
Hey, let me see. Shot.
Who are you using?
Can you share your screen?
Hugo's Way demo.
Oh, demo. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Can you share your?
Oh, wow, and it's just crossing the 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
Wow.
ascending right now anyway, so like a double top. Well, no, it's just ascending.
Can't take that. I can't play with it. GBP odd is a good long-term entry. USD CAD is a good long-term entry. Pick your poison. It's totally up to you guys. But just manage it. If you manage it, I promise you, you'll make some money. You might not get the full 200 pips. You might only get your 40 or 50 if it's a GBP, or your 20 or 40 if it's USD CAD. Who cares? 20 pips is 20 pips, and that's awesome.
You're right.
Hey, Jamie, are you looking to buy right there on that zone?
Yes, ma'am. For the flag, for the correction.
Huh. Gotcha. Yeah, so we missed that second entry. I took it on the fractal break. That other one. So, but it works, you know, if we don't just stuck with those rules. So, and I'm okay with that because overall, if I'm up, I'm up. I don't like getting stressed out about a win and a loss. Like that's not the way to trade. This should be pretty chill. It should be just hanging out, talking real quick, yell over each other and say, hey, yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
I'm up 51 pips on USD JPY. That's not bad. I'm up 77 pips on odd USD. I'm down 25 pips on GBP odd. Psh. It's not nice. 23 now. How rude. So we can't really take any more amazing entries on gold, guys. We would just kind of hold it out, period. Because we have to let this breathe. I mean, we might be able to squeeze in a couple more, you know, going up, but the odds are our next 5 trades would have to be to the downside. And you just stick with one pair and you kind of hang out and trade them.
Hey, Jenny.
Yes, sir.
Hey, the margin percentage for accounts, right?
What broker?
On Hugo's Way. So you said never go under 500% margin level percentage, right?
Yes. Now, Jamie, you know what you're doing. You could probably push it slightly, but you have to bear in mind when this market closes at 5 p.m. Eastern, or when trading happens from like London, New York, they often open the spread. They often plop the fees on there, the commissions and all that other stuff.
Right.
And if you don't have the margin, that's the moment you're gonna blow your account. So you could
Right.
open it full time, but if you didn't have the margin, you're gonna blow your account right then.
Oh yeah, I only have one trade open. That's AU 200, and I got a percentage level of 2,000.
Then you're good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, everything is closed. I'm pretty much done for the day.
Like, so you have time, yeah. So some days, guys, we took 6 trades. I took 6 trades. I lost 1, and my 5th one is this one. It's still open. It's USD CAD. It'll hit. It's just a matter of when it will hit, and my trade manager will knock me out. It's went into profit a couple of times. If I was wiser and paying attention, I would have manually protected these pips and then just got back in, because it doesn't seem like much, but this is how you scalp your way. So as you guys can see, it was already up. See, that's just it. It was up 10 pips. That's stupid. But either way, it doesn't matter. We're doing this based off of long term. If you guys are looking for 5 more scalps, it really should be on the gold sell. Not that we can guarantee it, and that's counter trend trading. So yes, anytime you're up 2 or 3 pips, you protect it, and then you take the next entry, the next entry, the next entry, and just keep doing it. You're going to take a loss. It's okay. But 10 trades a day, you would be withdrawing 4 to 5 figures this week. You know, depending on compound every 5. A DJ was talking about not changing it per trade. I get it. So compound every 5 trades. And that's enough.
I need to update my sheet.
Not when you're messing with those indices, though. Be careful. The only
Oh no, I'm talking about my sheet, my compounded sheet.
honestly, whoever wants to help me figure out how to compound a US 30 account, I want to do that. Like, I want to be the person who does that. I want to figure it out, because I am still not effective. Like, the truth is, we can turn a small account into, let's just say, $40,000-$50,000, you know, in a few weeks. Cool. But I can't do that with indices. Indices are just very complex to compound.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Waddy.
Hey, I remember on one of your classes, you said you had a compound sheet that like factored in if you took 50% profit, like at 50% of, I guess, the take profit.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that what we were talking about was that website that currently is not working.
Oh, okay.
But I do know what you're talking about. So like what it did was it factored in if you withdrew X percentage per day or per week, but it's that website's down again. My favorite website, it kind of comes up and goes down all the time. It's weird, but it'll come back up. It was funny how it works. But either way, so if you multiply what you have on your compounding sheet by approximately 1.75, so for example, if you needed 30 trades to get to your mark, you're going to have to increase that by give or take 75%, right? So you would need approximately, what is that? Just say, I can make me do math in public. So what was that? 40 some odd trades, 43, 47 with the cushion. So if you increase it, so multiply whatever trades you are taking by 1.75, the 0.25, so the 25% will cover any losses. The 0.5, the 50% will cover the withdrawal. Keep in mind, not every pair trades at $10. There's fees, commissions, depending on your broker. There's fees depositing and fees withdrawing. So nothing is an exact science, but we're not looking for exactly $49,000. We're looking for a $40,000 gain. We're not looking for exactly $30,000. We're looking for, most of you would be pretty happy if you withdrew $10,000. So be happy. Be happy.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jenny.
You are welcome. But if you're compounding it every 5 trades, I would use are you talking about the weekly time one? Hold on. The weekly one? You have that one already, right, DJ?
Yeah, I already got that. No, that's not what I was talking about. I think I misheard you because I thought you said like I said something about if you took 50% of your position off of a trade, then there's a sheet that showed how you could compound that 50% that you're taking off your position.
Yeah, oh, that's my website that does not work right now. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Welcome, James, real quick. Can you show that GB odd? I will show the GBP odd. Search on Amazon. Avec Grande has good recipes. Amazon vegan 100 by. Okay, I will do that. I'm a little terrified, a little excited. And let's take a look. Let me close this. Go to new share. Let's go here. Getting proficient. So here's USD CAD. Let's go to the 1 hour. Remember, guys, please go down to a smaller time frame for your swings. It's just not worth it. There we go.
Is that going to be through the month of December?
Yeah, and even the first. Well, that's how I'm going to do it because here's what's going to happen. I'll show you on a different pair actually. This is GBP odd, so we're pulling back. We're wicking up right now off of that trend line, pretty much to be expected. That trend line was drawn before this wicked up. Go figure. But this is where we're at. So we pulled back. We're testing down. Kind of looks like it could potentially be forming a pattern, but we'll see. It's not formed yet. What I'm seeing overall is a good risk to reward. So when we're taking a trade, my opinion, your opinion, anybody else's opinion doesn't matter. It's can you gain more than what you're risking? Potentially. It doesn't mean you're going to get this much more. And everyone gets that stuck in their head. But do you have the potential to gain more than you're risking? What we're seeing is this has pushed up. We had this kind of stalling out. We broke above that. We made a double top. And now we broke below this, middle of the M formation, double top, retesting it, exactly what we want to see. So at least the pullback is complete. So where price is at now? Well, I'm not doing that. I want to keep it where I had it. That was a better entry. But either way, from where price is at now, your risk to reward would still be pretty good in general. But we did wick to the bottom. So you might want to wait until it kind of comes up a little bit and see what it does. Wait until on a smaller time frame you get confirmation. But currently that's what we're seeing. We're looking for this to come down and retest. If we were to draw fibs on this move, which we don't all have to use that, but for those of you who like it, there's 1,000 different ways to do it. That's why I don't know how valuable it is per se. But we came down already and we retested, thank you, in and around that 38.2 zone. Coming back up, what we're looking to see is anywhere in this area, okay? But that wouldn't be the actual move. So as I zoom out, I'm gonna have to delete this. The actual move, if it will let me, come on, baby. There we go, delete that. This is the difference. This actual move is from here to here. And if you wanted to get real technical, the uptrend is quite bigger than that, but depends on who taught you and what you know. This is only the 4 hour chart. So expecting it to come down and retest even just that much, not a bad setup. The odds are we'll easily get to this area. Do you guys see this right here? But keep in mind, there's an election. There's stuff going on that is out of our control. All we're doing is we're taking, strategic information. We're making an educated guess. We're making good risk management choices. We make a decision and we let it ride. Like that's it. So for it to come down to this zone is probably the most likely scenario, excluding the whole, what is that? The drama with GBP, Brexit, or the election, or whatever it is. I'm not a genius at that. So this is the most likely zone that we're looking for it to hit. Anywhere in here.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That's what we're kind of looking at. So when you draw fibs, guys, there's so many variables. That's why they're not like my best friend, is because I can put a fib line pretty much on every single number all the way up based off of different time frames, different ways, and different styles. So it is what it is. That's all. And the person who asked about US 30, what was your question? Would you explain how you determine your trades on US 30, or is there a video I can watch? So everybody wants to trade US 30, but no one wants to talk about how it's not compoundable. No one wants to talk about that. So same thing. There we go. US 30, you need the 5 minute, 1 minute time frame. You cannot go much above. You can go 15 minutes, but if you don't have 5 figures in your account, you really shouldn't, because the drawdown is just too massive. Now, I don't know what broker you're using. If you're using CoinEx, you would be going for 30 pips per trade. If you're using Hugo's Way or AFX, you're going to go for 300 pips per trade. And to get that a few times in Asian session, or to get that a few times in New York, is very, very possible. Now, I do know there's somebody else running around with some 9:30 a.m. strategy for US 30. I don't know what it is. Somebody said they were going to tell me. I don't know, and put me in touch with that person. To me, it's neither here nor there. Either way, whatever your indicators are, whatever your sense of proof is, these are pretty simple. This is the 200, the 50, the 33, and the 8. If your rules line up and you take this trade, you're only going for the smallest amount of pips, preferably on the smaller time frame, because this baby move is enough for you to catch money. That pullback would have hurt really bad, but that in layman's terms, in our terms, is probably 590 pips. On CoinEx, it's only 59, but CoinEx trades at $1 per pip on this pair, so it's different. So if you're on Hugo's Way, this is 590 pips, which means your account has to handle a drawdown of that many pips, just to give you an idea. This baby move, this nothing move, that's how much it is. So if I were you, I would say, okay, once price breaks below the 50, or use the scalping strategy that we're currently using, which is when a fast MACD is above the 0 line on the 5 minute chart, you are only looking for buys. Price and the fast MACD and the 3 EMA need to be above the 50 moving average on the 5 minute chart, and you would drop down to the 1 minute chart and only go look for buys. Whatever signals you need to, based off of your rules and your strategies, use to decide that. So for example, we are below the 50. I'm sure we are on the 5 minute chart as well. We're only looking for sells. So we would take this sell, this sell, this sell, this sell, this sell. Probably would have wanted this sell because there would have been a crossover here of the 3 and the 9. Here, 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 here. And you would keep doing it. When you trade this way, you're only going to be wrong twice, once in the beginning and once in the end. Your statistical odds of accuracy are extremely high because you're always going where the price is actually moving. You will have those times like we just experienced with gold, where technically I was right, but I got stopped out before I was right. It's realistic, it's part of life, but you have to have some amount of rules that you can stick with so you're duplicatable. So does that make sense? Just take the 9 and the 3 cross and the 50, the retest of the 0 on the 1 minute chart, provided it matches the rules on the 5 minute chart. You will be successful. However, you can only take one trade at a time. You always have to move your stop into profit because you want your accuracy, you want it to be bumped up just enough to make a difference. So even if it means you missed out on the move, we're not going to get livid. We're going to be super chill and be happy that we made some. You will miss out on the move sometimes. But then as you go on, so like every 5 to 10 trades, take the next lot size, you have to do it that way because it's so risky. It's very difficult to compound. Or you can hold it till you get another EMA crossover. Your call. So I hope I answered your question. James. Awesome. Hey, we got some major background noise. Who's that? Well, it's not major, but it's major in my ears. Okay, there we go. I muted you guys. Okay, so today we didn't take nearly as many, but we did go through the 4-hour scalps. Let me do a new share. We did go through the 4-hour one in all fairness, so it's a little different. That takes a little bit of time too, but I'm trying to keep my obligation. As you guys can see, this 6 trade is in profit, was in profit twice, but it didn't activate. My little manager didn't activate properly the first time, which is okay. Those are real things in life that we can't fuss about. I will take probably another entry on this safely because I feel like fooling around with this right this moment just isn't super great. So at least not for me. Cameron, I did record this. Yes, I did, which is a lot of recording. So it's hours and hours. So part of me would much rather be a little bit, I'm learning how to say no. I'm learning how to be a little bit stronger. But who I am and who I want to be would say I would only record the 4-hour setups because those are useful. Whereas the rest of this stuff, you guys, I know that some people can't attend these classes, so of course they want to and they want to rewatch it. But you're talking hours of us hanging out, and most of it, it's an atmosphere, it's an energy, it's a moment that if you're not part of, sometimes the recording isn't. I don't find it to be as advantageous. I don't find it to be as beneficial personally, because now you're watching hours of after the fact stuff, which yes, you can learn from. You can hang out and you'll hear Jamie talking, and you'll hear, Derek seeing something and Scott teaching something, and you'll hear different people, Eric, getting 293 pips or something. So you'll definitely have stuff to gain. But I feel like spend less time watching these recordings and come live, come hang out, volunteer to share your screen, volunteer to watch a pair. We'll stare at your chart. We'll boss you around a little bit. And that environment where you're active and you're hands-on learning, I think is the best for all of us personally, if you're asking my opinion. So, but yes, it will be recorded. And we do have class tonight, guys. I will kind of go over a couple of topics. If you have a specific topic, my brain runs out of topics. So please, by all means, message me. I've got a topic sheet on my desk. I've got Pedro's name first. I will cover them one by one. Some of them will take an entire class. Some of them will be like a bust through. But you'll be helping me as much as helping you. So please, by all means, step up. Tell me what your questions are. And let's learn to do this. We'll start making videos and do what we got to do. Gold is going up again. Oh, I want that trade so bad. But I'm not going to take it. So, because I know it's just hitting that resistance. So I know it's got to breathe a little bit. So, But all right, I'm going to hop off, guys. That's enough hours of talking and talking and talking. Okay.
Thank you,
All
Jenny.
right, thank
Thank you, everybody.
I adore you guys. We'll see you guys tonight.
Jenny.
And take care. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace, everyone.
All right, Bobby. Hey, love y'all.
Love you guys.
All right.